Hi,
Hi, everyone.
welcome back to another episode of Can We Discuss with Yara and Petra.
On today's episode, we're going to be discussing friendships, more specifically, adult friendships and managing expectations to maintain a healthy relationship.
Making friends is hard. Maintaining adult friendships is even harder. And I don't just mean adult friendships, friends that you make when you're adult or in your adulthood, but friends that you've had along the way as well. Just maintaining friendships when you're an adult.
Yeah, it's a tough one, honestly, Yani. And we used to be, I remember like growing up, you'd be a lot more like not devoted, but like dedicated to your friendships. And your friendships are like your entire world, right? Your entire world revolves around your friends. And I think as we grow older, that definitely shifts. And there's a lot that goes into like understanding that shift and working around life essentially and making sure you're finding a way for you guys to still have a friendship that kind of adds value to both your lives and really doesn't take effort, but is just something that is, again, just adding value to your life.
Yeah. And I think that's why it becomes very important to manage your expectations and manage and kind of align with your friends what your expectations are. Like a lot of the times things get lost in translation or lost in communication, right?
100%.
يعني بتكون انت عندك شيء معين that you kind of look at in a friendship and that is kind of important to you. It might be like the little things, right? And it's very similar to your love language when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
It's really understanding what that is and knowing that you can communicate it to your friends, right? And of course, this is we're talking about friends that are healthy relationships in your life, people that you want to keep around, regardless of which stage you are in your life as well, right?
Yeah, because we would hope that for toxic relationships and friendships, we're just dropping them. We're
ايوه
canceling
ما
them out
بنجيهم
completely.
بحياتنا.
100% ما بدنا إياهم بحياتنا. So we're not even going to acknowledge those kind of friendships because
Yeah,
they do exist and it's very important. And that's a
yes.
whole other topic, right? As to like how to identify that and make sure that you are protecting your own mental health. But on that topic, what's one of the biggest challenges, Yarush, that you've had? I know we've talked about this a lot, but like, what's one of the biggest challenges that you've had when it comes to like managing expectations in adult friendships?
Um, changing the way that I look at things sometimes.
Oof,
اوقات
that's a
بتصير
good one. Yeah.
اوقات بتحسي انت اوقات because you act with your friends a specific way and you think this is how you show them love and appreciation, you want them to treat you the same way, right? بس
Yeah.
كثير من الأوقات it's not to say that the love is not there. بس كثير من الأوقات هن ما بيعاملوك بهيدي الطريقة. It's just
مظبوط.
because that's not who they are as people. ما فيك
Yeah.
أنت مثل ما فيك تغير الشخص in a relationship. You cannot change a person and the way that they are in a friendship. It just doesn't work that way. يعني يمكن أنا بالنسبة لإلي إذا as an adult, right? We all have different priorities. We're all at different stages in our lives. Some of us have kids, others don't. Some are really busy when it comes to work, others not really. There's a million things, right, that we can
مظبوط.
we can count and take into consideration. But at the end of the day, in terms of challenges, sometimes my friends do something. وأنا هيدا الشيء يمكن بتطلع فيه بقول إنه what the hell ليه هيك عملوا؟ أنا
I
بصير
wouldn't have done
فكر
it that
فيها.
way.
Yeah, وأنا بصير فكر فيها مليون مرة براسي. Like you overthink things and you
Yeah.
start making it out to be in your head a situation where okay ما تفكري فيها كل هالقد ما بدها
It's not
هالقد.
what happened.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's not understanding that their intentions are hopefully most of the time in the right place. ما حدا
Yeah.
بيجرب يعمل شيء
صح.
تيزعل or to disappoint you, right? بس انت اوقات
100%.
بتفكر بالاشياء or بتشوف في اشياء and you get disappointed and it's about thinking okay, it's understanding okay I can be disappointed. يا بدي احكي مع هذا الشخص بالموضوع بدي اقول لهم انه by the way انتوا عملتوا a gathering or something شو بعرفني you acted in this way, you invited me, not invited me, you did this and that during القعدة or whatever it is. I didn't appreciate it and you tell them, right? Communication is key. Or
Yeah.
بدك تفكري إنه أوكي صاروا عاملين هيدا الشغلة كذا مرة. This is who they are. So يمكن أنت غيري either the way that you look at this friend or the way that you are within this friendship, or just you can distance yourself. Hopefully you never have to do that, but you can distance yourself, or you can just say خلاص this is who they are, it is what it is, I'm just going to manage my own expectations.
صح and mom كانت ضلنا تقلنا مثل or whatever أكيد بتعرفي شو بدي أقول هلا كانت تعطينا مثل عن إنه قال I don't know what it is. Apparently, if we Google this, it'll come out as well. كان في ختيارة قال عم تجرب to teach like a younger girl a lesson وتقلها إذا حطيتي جزرة بمي وغليتيها وإذا حطيتي بيضة بمي وغليتيها وحدة حتصير super hard مثل الegg is going to become a hard boiled egg والجزرة رح تصير كتير soft يعني you know. So essentially to say that everything and everyone reacts differently even in the same situation.
Yeah.
And that was like for me very hard to come around to. I think هلا as an adult I understand it a little bit better. كنت أزعل من رفقاتي إنه إذا أنا ليش أنت عملت هيك like no way أنا I would have never approached the situation بهذه الطريقة أنت how did you approach it, how did you think of it in this way. And it took me a minute, like 2 years ago بركة, for me to just understand إنه كل واحد منا عن جد غير وكل واحد منا بيفكر بطريقة غير وكيف ما برمتيها you're never going to be able to have a same person. Like نحن بقلب البيت, we've said this before, وكل واحد منا بيتصرف بطريقة غير, reacts to things differently, so you'll never have two people reacting the same way or approaching a situation in the same way because they're two different humans, right? So like ما فيك to think إنه you can't put your expectations and expect people to live up to these expectations. And I think like now what I've learned is in general in a lot of relationships, right? Because friendships are a type of relationship, and like in a lot of relationships, having expectations, not towards your own actions, but having expectations of how certain things should play out is literally only setting yourself up for disappointment because it's trying to control things that are outside of your control, which is how someone would react to a situation or how someone would approach a situation. So هيدا شيء كتير مهم, and that's been a challenge for me specifically when it comes to friendships, is just like how do I navigate a situation where أنا كنت عملت شيء completely differently than how you acted in a certain situation. So that was the biggest challenge for me. And then can we discuss? I really didn't try to do that on purpose. But now you know why we called this podcast Can We Discuss? But can we discuss something even more specific in friendships when your friends, because we're talking about adult friendships, right? So as adults, like you said, Diara, every one of us is going through a different thing. مش يعني حدا منا عم يتعب أكتر من التاني أو عم يتعذب أكتر من التاني أو مبسوط أكتر من التاني, لا. بس the reality is that we're all going through different situations. We all each have our own lives to think about, our own priorities to look at. So for me, as an adult, it's become something that I really have to like wrap my head around as well, is the fact إنه, you know, كل واحد عنده ظروفه 100%. Me and you have talked about this. So tell our listeners a piece of advice that you've shared with me when it comes to how to approach that situation, in terms of making sure, obviously it's a two-way street, بس بنفس الوقت it doesn't mean إنه والله إذا ما رديت علي اليوم على الواتساب that means that you're, you know, crossing me out as a really good friend or whatever.
That's like really putting me on the spot. شو بيعرفني مفكرة بتذكر everything that I tell you.
That's what I like to do on this podcast, put you on the spot, you know?
No. Honestly, I think it's giving people the benefit of the doubt, giving them kind of دايما لازم تفكري انه okay, يمكن if I was in their situation, understanding that they're maybe in a different situation. Mind you, يمكن ما حدا يكون حاكي مع if they haven't told you that they're in a specific situation, for example, or that they're going through something, or في شيء بحياتهم عم بخليهم not to talk to you the way that they used to a month ago, for example, بيقولوا لك هيدا الشيء. If you're a person that wants to maintain this friendship and that wants to see it grow, because obviously maintaining and growing go hand in hand when it comes to friendships, you need to understand that they're also, you need to check in with them, for example. And if a friend of yours just gave birth, obviously they're not going to be able to check in on you the same amount of time that you're going to be able to check in on them. Yes, انت
Yeah.
عم تتعبي من الشغل, بس ما كل واحد منا has a different level of قد ايه هن فيهم يتحملوا اشياء, or the way that they react to specific situations in life.
مظبوط.
And you need to understand that it's okay. Give them the benefit of the doubt. If today they're not what your expectations of them, they're not living up to your expectations of them and your friendship, it's fine. Tomorrow they might be able to. It's the same situation. It goes both ways. Friendships are a two-way street, and no one can convince me otherwise. ما حدا يجي يقول لي انه اف صرنا 2 weeks مش حكينك, ما حكيتينا انت in 2 weeks. Okay, you can, like, it's fine, you can give me a call, right? And it's managing these expectations, understanding that there is a common ground for either one of you, right? ما بعرف. انت how
So
would
how
you
do
like
you,
approach things in this situation generally?
well, I was just going to ask you, how do you manage expectations? But I'll answer that. I'll answer it with your question.
Yeah.
How I would approach situations is, and this has worked for me, and maybe it doesn't work for some people, and I've definitely had some backlash on this approach. So I'm not saying it's like the best. بس مثل ما قلت قبل, I kind of confront things head on. يعني مثلا, when I moved to the States, okay, I moved at 27 years old, so I'm a whole ass adult, and I have whole ass adult friends, right, who at this age, يعني عم نحكي early 30s, late 20s, you would expect somewhat of like being a little bit self-aware, understanding like basic etiquette in terms of like in friendships and stuff.
Yeah.
وصلت على أمريكا, and I was very quick to notice the difference in terms of like my friends who I consider really like my people from
Yeah.
back home reaching out to me, not waiting for me to reach out to them, you know, because I just went through a whole life change. And anyone who knows, anyone who's moved to a completely new country with no family, أكيد it's me and Jason, وكتر خير الله على كل شيء, بس إنه we literally left behind everything that we knew and came fully into the unknown. So هن قدروا هيدا الشيء, قدروا إنه Petra's definitely going through it right now. She's definitely still trying to figure out what her new normal is, how her happiness looks like in the States. So they were very much doing a lot of like the reaching out, and I would always just manage expectations even throughout these conversations, like, hey, I'm so sorry I'm not reaching out, hey, I'm just going through it at this point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have on the other side of the spectrum friends here who are in the US, who are in the same state masalan, who, mind you, like, I don't fault them for anything. They already have established lives here, they
Yeah,
already
I mean,
have
sometimes
established.
you can't, sorry, like, but I feel like sometimes you can fault your friends. It's okay to fault them. It's okay to know, hey, I expected you to treat me in this way and you didn't. It
Yeah.
says a lot about who you are as a person and what you consider our friendship to be as well, right?
And that was exactly where I was going with that, is I did fault them. Like, I can be understanding to a certain degree. And I think if you love your friends, and maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but if you love your friends, it's okay to sometimes point out their mistakes. We are all humans and we all make mistakes. If we can't rely on the people that we love most to, you know, point us in the right direction when we are not doing the right thing, then why am I even a part of your life? Like, why am I even your friend if I'm not able to add value in this way? And mind you, like, it's not to say one person is right and one person's wrong. Again, we're saying these are different approaches. بس لما حدا يوصل من السفر, it's pretty like standard behavior to say الحمد لله على السلامة مثلا. You know what I mean? Or it's pretty standard to say,
Or if you moved, hey, welcome to this side of the world. Do you need any help since I've been here my entire life?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I mean in terms of like even social etiquette, like, and maybe we should bring Carmen back on to talk about this, but like even social etiquette where it's just about like basic minimums that you think that you would have expected. But again, we go back, we circle and go back to like this is my expectations, right? Um but let's talk a little bit now, like we've talked a lot about challenges. عبالي هيك شوي نحكي عن like the good things that can come and like the power of adult friendships and how they can really like enrich your life.
I think as adult friendships, the way that they would enrich your life is when you recognize that we are all the same. Underneath it
Yeah.
all, we are all the same. We are all going through kind of the same emotions, but يمكن at
Yeah.
different times in our lives. But you're going
صح.
through this, or stages in your life. You're going through the same emotions. And understanding that as adults, you respect the person in front of you. يمكن أنت مفكرة. I feel like, and this goes with a lot of friendships, and as you grow as well, a lot of friends take you as a friend for granted. But
Yeah.
it's you being there and saying, "Hey, I'm a whole person. أنا كمان I have my expectations. أنا كمان عندي the way that I like things to be done. It's not going to be just our friendship, and our style of friendship is not just going to be the way that you want it to be." And
Yeah.
having that mutual respect is very important. It's
Yeah.
very mutual respect, mutual understanding is very important. You might not have it when you first meet a person, right? يمكن حتى as an adult, you meet a person for the first time and then it blossoms into a friendship. يمكن
مزبوط.
initially you feel like not my person, not my vibe, not whatever. But then because of the mutual respect and the mutual expectations that you set together for that friendship, it grows into something that is
Builds.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's very important to understand that حتى when the good things, sorry, about friendships. وفي مثل بالعربي بيقولوا انه الزعل على قد المحبة. And even as انت you're disappointed in someone, it's just because you love them, you expected that you thought that you were in a specific way closer to them or whatever. And that is also a good thing. And
Yeah.
I don't see that as something that is negative. Fine, أكيد it can be negative, but I don't see it as something that is negative. ليش؟ لأنه at the end of the day أنا بعمل اللي أنا بيريحني when it comes to my friendships. إذا أنا من النوع اللي بدي I want to stay in touch with the person. إذا أنا من النوع اللي أنا برتاح إنه يكون عندي أحكي مع my friends every single day, even if it's
Yeah.
just, hey, what's up? What you doing? That's
Yeah.
fine. I think that's a great thing. And knowing these loyal friendships or understanding these little things that make a big deal for some people builds a very good friendship when you're an adult,
Yeah.
right? Giving
It's
each other
very
the
true.
space as well to grow in that
صح.
friendship.
صح. It's very true. وأنا كتير بحبه لهيدا المثل ودايما this is what I was trying to say before إنه if you really care about the person that is in front of you, about the friendship that you're trying to build together and that you're trying to foster and grow together,
Yeah.
then there has to be like tough conversations that are being had. There has to be a level of trust in terms of أنا لما أحكي معك شي لما أقول لك شي, you have to trust my intentions that I'm not here to hurt you, I'm not here to judge you, I'm here to
Yes.
genuinely
100%.
just try to make our relationship better, and
Yeah.
in the sense that I'm just trying to manage our expectations of each other, right?
Yeah.
And if you come to me and you tell me, hey, actually I know you said this to me but that's just not how I roll, fine, now I understand for next time,
Yeah.
um بس بحبه كتير لهيدا المثل انه الزعل قد المحبة, and this is what I always try to say. وأنا I'm an over lover, like when I become
With any of
my
your relationships in general.
with any of my relationships, but like
Yeah.
you know this very well because I've carried a lot of my friendships from like my teenage years into my adult life, and it's been a very hard transition for me personally to build these boundaries and these manage these expectations for myself,
كمان it's about it was a bit difficult for you to look at it as oh my God, this friendship is evolving, not in a negative way. It's not
Yeah,
like it's
just
evolving in a negative
evolving.
way, but it's because it's changing, and change is very hard with a lot of things. And when
Yeah,
your friendship dynamics change, you feel like you want to grab on to these dynamics because to you, it's like,
مظبوط.
what the hell? I've had you so like for my whole life. This is how we've always done things. For it to change because of life, obviously, and because we are human beings, بتصيري تفكري انه يا الله shit كيف بدي how can I maintain what is the most important thing for me in this friendship, how can I maintain that regardless of
Yeah,
whatever the situation is, right?
it's
And
like
it's really
holding on.
understanding people's intentions.
True. And it's like you're holding on almost to something that's not really there anymore, right? Because all of the situation has changed, right? So it's like you're trying to hold on to a friendship that was established under completely different circumstances, under completely different realities.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, it's definitely something that I still struggle with today. And I'm sure a lot of people do. Friendships in general, قد they, يعني قد they come with challenges, قد they also are a source of happiness and a source of trust and a source of, just an extended
comfort.
family. Like that's
Yeah,
how it has to
it's a
be.
source of comfort.
100%. And I think like to sum it all up, I think like talking through things is very important, and then keeping an open mind while you're having these conversation is even more important.
Yeah, your mindset is important.
Yeah.
The way that you look at things is important. And always remember, to me, it's quality over quantity. I know so many people. I know so many people. Anna, personally, I'm a social butterfly. I get along with a lot of people. It doesn't mean they're all my close friends.
صح.
They
صح.
can be friends, عادي. They can be acquaintances.
أكيد.
They don't have to be close. They can bring a lot of joy and a lot of love to my life. It doesn't mean they have to be my closest friends or my best friends.
مظبوط.
It's very okay to have three best friends and then other people that are around you that are great to be around. They make you happy, but at the end of the day, they don't have to be your closest friends with everything.
Yeah.
And a part of healthy friendships, healthy adult friendships, is really always understanding the realities of adult life, of being humans,
صح.
of the ever evolving, the changes around you, كل الوقت, and of the fact that you can always be a bit more understanding, changing your
Yeah.
mindset to understand the other. أكيد مش إذا حدا عم يأذيكم, but with the little
أكيد.
things that don't, at the end of the day, they don't change everything in your friendship.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that brings us to the end of our discussion. But yeah, just make sure, as always, that you give each other grace. You come at things with an open mind and an open heart, more importantly. But
Mhm.
yeah, share with us also some of the challenges that you've had when it comes to managing expectations with friendships, or just challenges when it comes to approaching your friendships in general. We'd love to hear them. And as usual, make sure to come right back here next week for our final episode. Yara, are we announcing this officially?
Are we? I think we are.
Oh, I think I just did. Next week, you guys, is actually officially our last episode of the season,
Season one,
of
20
season one.
episodes. The closing is next week. If you guys have
Yes,
anything that you want us to discuss, please put it in
make
the
sure.
comments.
Yeah, set us up for season 2 essentially, because we have next week's episode lined up. But set us up for season 2. We're so excited to bring on like more guests and just share a lot more interesting discussions with you. So make sure to come back right here next week for our final episode. And as usual, please leave below any comments, any feedback. We'd love to hear it. Thanks,
Share
everyone.
your experiences with us as well. We'd love to
Yes.
hear any of those little experiences.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone. Bye.